All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is March 16th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That's a day trading division of the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following and liking and subscribing to my content. Special shout out Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Ed Carter, Rick Sadler, everybody that shares the content, helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you. I am honored you guys have chose me to help you in your trading journey. Thank you. All right, so how I made 1800 with a 48K account. All right, so let's look at the markets today. Okay, so as you can see from the morning plaque, this was the morning plaque. I plan to trade a continuation of the SPY 10-minute uptrend to target 1 and looking for them to consolidate over the pink line and eventually get to target 2. They could not hold the consolidation. All right, so that was what happened this morning. So let's take a look at SPY. And you can see we had a 10-minute in the morning time, a 10-minute uptrend. I said I was looking for a continuation of that. And we had a 3-day anchored VWAP, which kind of lined up right there. We needed to get on top of that line and hold, and we could not do it. We got up there and failed, got up there and tried, got up here and ran out of gas, and then we got up here again, and then we got shot down. So there you go. So this is where we were. So we did hit our first target, which was 671.40, which I pretty much announced 2 or 3 times that this is target 1 for taking profits. Okay, so there we go. So 10-minute uptrend, we traded that for some gains right up there. And then after that, price just went to the side the whole day long. Nothing but moving to the right. So bull flag up there. So looking for this head and shoulders. We had an inverse head and shoulders to break out up there, but they couldn't quite hold the steam. Got too hot for them up there, and they kind of came melting back. So into the close on the 10-minute chart. 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. 2-hour. Got a 2-hour. Let's go to this chart right here. Let's go to this page right here. No, not that one. Let's try this one. So 2-hour, we have, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Let's move this out of the way. And barely a 2-hour uptrend. There's not very little daylight between the yellow line and the white line here. But we got a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close on the daily candle. Still lower highs, lower lows. So we're still in a daily downtrend. Today's candle was looking like an inside day. So that was higher low, lower high, closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17. Take this out of the way or just dial it back. Okay, so under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, we're still bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, it's still bullish. It's the origin of our rally back here in April. So we're still bullish, but we're in a downtrend. And we're making lower highs and lower lows. That's downtrend right there. Let's take a look at weekly chart. Still bullish in an uptrend. We have not made any lower lows yet. Okay, on the weekly, and on the monthly, still bullish and in an uptrend. Still have not made any lower lows. There's SPY on the weekly, and so the bigger time frame still bullish right there. Let's take a look at QQQ, and we'll head off first with the 10-minute chart. All right, on the 10-minute chart for QQQ, 10-minute downtrend coming into the close, 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Daily candle is Well, let's take a look. There's the high, 603.60. There's the high, 603.86. So higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap, another bearish trap under the flat 17. Put it on the quad lines here. You can see we're under the all-time high anchored VWAP. We're under the uptrend line. We're still, here's the origin of our rally, April. We're still in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. We are starting to form consolidation under prior consolidation, which is a bearish environment. But we're still up here in quadrant 4, so we're still bullish. They have not made a lower low yet since making this higher high. So we have a dysfunctional uptrend because they got this wick right here, made a higher high than these two wicks. So that's an uptrend right there. So dysfunctional uptrend. And because we're not moving up, we're moving to the right or melting down. So there's QQQ on the daily chart, still bullish up here in the middle of quadrant 4, but in the dysfunctional uptrend right there in QQQ. Weekly chart, still bullish and in an uptrend, have not made any lower lows. This is the low to beat right here. They have to get below 680.74. Okay, they haven't done it yet, so still bullish and in an uptrend here on weekly. Same thing on the monthly. See all the green dots, just like SPY, bullish and in an uptrend on the monthly chart. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow, and we'll take a look at that. That is, I'm just going to call it a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, still in the upper third. Okay, that's the upper third of the quad line. So up above this, we're bullish. Down below this, we're bearish. In the middle, neutral. So we're bullish. Still in a downtrend. We've got a lower high, lower low. We have not made any higher highs in a while. So Diamond Dow is still bullish, but in a downtrend. Let's take a look at IWM. Is a higher low and a higher high, closed inside a bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, still in the upper, again, the origin of our rally, April, still in the upper third, so that's bullish. But you can see clearly lower highs and lower lows, so still in a downtrend. Bullish and in a downtrend on IWM. Let's take a look at Stinker. All right, and Stinker puts in an inside day. That's a lower high and a higher low. We closed underneath a bearish trap, underneath flat 17, and gonna move this off to there for right now. Okay, so you can see this is our all-time low. This is our all-time high. We are under the all-time high anchored VWAP right here. We are under the midpoint, so we're on the bearish side of the 50-yard line. Okay, we are under the flat 17 right there. So on the daily chart, we are neutral and in a downtrend that was dysfunctional in that we made lower lows, but we've been melting up instead of melting down. Now we're starting to melt down. Okay, so there's Stinker on the daily chart. Let's take a look at silver, gold, and USO and UNG. USO right here, building out a bull flag. I'm telling you, I think this can get to 187. We'll see. Bull flag being built out here. Low here is 114.56. Low here, 114.36. Lower high, lower low, closing inside of a bullish trap because the sticks and the 3 are riding up over the 8. Okay, so lower high, lower low, closing inside the bullish trap over the rising 17. That's the green dots. Over the 4-year high anchored VWAP. Excuse me, that's a pink line. All right, up here in the middle of quadrant 4. Okay, remember above in the top third, we're bullish. So this is bullish, still in an uptrend. They have not made any lower lows. Let's take a look at UNG. Lower high, lower low, closing underneath bullish trap, closing underneath the 17, closing underneath this 12-month high anchored VWAP, still down here in quadrant 1. All right, so we're bearish and in an uptrend. All right, and it's a dysfunctional uptrend in that we're not moving up, we're moving to the right or melting off. All right, so UNG bearish, but in a dysfunctional uptrend. So there's UNG. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Silver, first off right here, silver looking like a low there is 71.92. Low there is 72.01, 71.92. So that's an inside day. So that's a lower high, higher low. We closed under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. And we have a lower low right here. So this is a downtrend. So we have silver in a downtrend, but in the neutral zone. Okay, not in the upper third, not in the lower third. So neutral and in a downtrend. Really just bear flagging right here. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold is lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, closing underneath the flat 17, closing underneath all-time high anchored VWAP. Has not made lower lows, so it's still in an uptrend. So it's still bullish and in an uptrend on GLD daily chart. Okay, take a look at the technicals. T2101, we moved up, and participation and market breadth stayed the same. Okay, so there we are, T2101. So no clue there, all right? Didn't move up far. Well, we did, overnight session moved it further than what we did. All right, so there's T2101, T2122. So look at this. We were in the oversold on Friday, and we ripped into the buyer's chop zone. Couldn't quite hold it together. Wound up on the other side of the midpoint. Spent a little time here. Made a couple of brief appearances inside the sell zone, only to close it back in the sell zone at the end of day. This T2122 15-minute chart. Still bearish. We're on the bearish side of this gold line. This would be the bull's side. This would be the bear's side. So up here would be bullish. Down here would be bearish. Still on the bearish side of the midpoint or of the neutral line right through there. Okay, so that's T2122. T2122 right there. Okay, so now we take a look at T2123 and more melting off, more lows. So still in a downtrend, still under this rolling over 200 SMA. Got a low, we made lower lows. We're in a downtrend, and you can see right here, still bullish up there, but losing more and more each day. And if I put the quad lines on all of this, we're still in the upper third right there. Still in the upper third. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. All right, so here's the 3-bar chart on T2123. Same thing. Got a low, made lower lows. Here's the low. There's the even lower low. This is even lower low than that. This is in a downtrend. Still just barely bullish, okay? Let me just say, they get any lower than this, and I'm not going to give it to them as being in the upper third. We're up over the rising 200 SMA. That is bullish. Price action is top of quadrant 4. Here's the origin of our rally, April. All right. And you can see we made a new all-time high, had a pullback, ripped again, made another new all-time high. Says T2123 3-bar chart. That is bullish and in a downtrend. Let's take a look at Stinker on the 15. Stinker on the 15 moves up. Didn't make a higher high yet. And with this wick, there's your higher high. That leaves the closing the day with an uptrend on Stinker on the 15, but you can see clearly since those highs up there, still down here in the lower third, that's bearish. Under the 200 SMA, also bearish. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bearish. So in an uptrend, but still bearish down there. Okay, so there's on the 15-minute chart. So that's it for me, and how I made money was pretty much spelled it out first thing this morning was right here. I said I was going to trade continuation of the SPY 10-minute uptrend up to target 1, looking for price to consolidate for target 2. It never could hold the pink line or the purple line up there. So I made my bones on some calls today. So you can see this was a put that was a ratio spread. So I closed that ratio spread out. The short side of the ratio spread to capture $1,100 there. 671 calls, made 105 on those, and my daily goal, of course, was 48.17, and you can see I clearly made my 481. That was my daily goal. So you can see I clearly made my daily goal. So there's 675 on these calls right here. Turn on the day trading, and we'll show you those. Come back over to a little bit closer right there, and we want 15-minute chart. Okay, so you can see I bought the calls, sold into strength. Bought the calls, sold into strength. Bought the calls, sold into strength. Right there. Same thing here. 671. Bought the calls, sold into strength. Bought the calls and sold into strength. Same thing on these. Sold the call and bought a call. So that must have been this was short. Okay, that was to counteract the other ones that I had as 0 DTEs. So this was a short spread on some of my long calls that I had right there. So there's SPY on the 5-minute chart. That's it for me for today. Made my daily goal, made a couple goals really. So hope you guys made some money. If you didn't, get with me. Text. Put your SPY on Friday in the GEX stream, okay? I am going to do that, so Text is probably going to point something out to help me. And put it on Friday. Is that right? Is that what you wanted? 320? Just to set the date till Friday. And you can see we got very little positive gamma GEX over here. Very little. Mostly everything is negative. And more than likely they're gonna, am I right, Text? They're gonna come climb that. They're gonna come after that red bar. So we see probably more upside tomorrow. Because they're probably going to chase that red bar down. Am I right? In that red block of hedged whatever is at 675. I know a little bit, but not enough to explain it. I know that the dealers, when you want a call, like when I wanted a call this morning, that the dealers, they sold me a call. Okay? But that puts a negative, that's probably a call that they didn't have. So they had to create a situation where they were not underwater, so they have to get close to zero gamma. And so they probably did something else in order to get me that call. Right. Yes, this, if it was like this, I'd say yes. This may act like a magnet tomorrow morning. I wish CP was here or text. He could help explain it right here, but he went, I didn't even see that. Put the date on, it's 3:45. All right, anyways, that's it. You can see on Friday, zero gamma is 675. So we still may be melting up over the next couple days. We'll see what happens. All right. Yeah, but yeah, I know they got to be like kind of delta neutral or close to it, within a certain percentage to be, to be in a market maker. All right, so that's it for me for today. Everybody have a wonderful evening. I'll see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I might be a little bit late. I may be going for some blood work. It's as a walk-in early in the morning. So I may get back a little bit late. I should have everything posted. I don't know that I will be late. Doesn't take them long to get my blood if they can find a vein, but and it's not far from the house, so I should be all right. But I may start maybe around 8:30 or 8:15. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I can start at 8. All right? I'll see everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a beautiful evening. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Hope you made some money.